Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to develop our first HTML page. Okay, for that purpose, first you need to understand few things that to create HTML page and to run it, we don't need any kind of servers until unless we have completely developed our website and we want to make that available on the internet. Till that point, we don't need any kind of servers to run our HTML pages. Every time we create an HTML document, it should end with the .html extension. Then after creating the page, all you have to open that page into your web browser to see the HTML effects. Okay, it is recommended practice to use the index word for the main HTML document, which will be used as a opening door to the web page. So first thing you need to do is to go into your web browser and type Sublime Text 3 or Sublime Text. The first website that come up would be sublimetext.com. Just click on it or open into next type and go over here, and in the download section, if you are using the Windows operating system, then you have to download this version. If you're using the Linux operating system, then you have to use this, and for the OS X you have to use this link. Just download the files from this website and then extract these files into a separate folder, and from this folder just click on Sublime Text and open it. As you can see that I have already created few pages, so I'm going to close these. Okay, the first thing you need to do is to save the page. I'm going to create a new page folder over here. I'm going to name it YouTube demo, and here I would be using the home page, or I'm going to name it index dot, this is the important part, dot html. And as you can see that it's a simple HTML document with the name of index. Okay, so as you have seen in the previous video, the HTML document is consist of the different tag. We have to start with the doc type, and then you have to type HTML. After that, we need to type the HTML tag. As we have opened it, now we have to close the HTML tag. Simply press the forward slash, it will close the tag. Okay, now I'm going to use the head tag. If I have opened this, I have to close this tag as well. Next thing we need to do is to have the body tag. Okay, now if I try to open this page into our web browser, let me open this page. First I have to go into our web browser, then YouTube demo. Let me open this browser. Okay, as you can see, let me first close these links. As you can see, there is nothing inside this page. We have just only created the structure, but there is nothing to show because we have not included anything into our page. So let me go back into our Sublime, and here if I put the title inside our head tag, then you would see that I'm going to name it my YouTube project and save it by pressing Ctrl S, or simply go to file, then save. Now if I go back into my browser and refresh this page, you can see that title has been appeared onto the top of our web page. So this is what our title tag is used for. Now if you want to add the comment inside the your HTML documents, comments are something that is not rendered by the browser. So if I add, these are just the information that you want to add for other developers to see the document or to add hint into the document. To add the comments, you have to use the angle bracket, then explanation sign and double dash, and this would be single line comment. If you add the multi-line comment, you have to add explanation sign, then move on multiple lines and then close it. Okay, so this would be our multi lines comment. Okay, so in our case, if I want to add comment into our body section, then I will be used for this purpose. This is body section. Okay, the next thing that I want to discuss is the heading tag. Any document start with the heading. You can use in the HTML, you can use different size of headings for your document, which start from the H1 and goes to H6. Okay, so let me go into our Sublime. If I go into body, here I would be using heading tags. Okay, now to add the heading tag, first you have to add the opening tag, then closing tag, and inside this tag you have to put the heading. Okay, this would be it. Heading 1, Similarly, you have to add heading 2. This would be heading 2 and you have to close it. Then heading 3. This would be heading 3. Then close it. Opening tag of heading 4. And now I'm going to use heading 5. Closing tag of heading 5. Opening tag of heading 6. And closing tag of heading 6 after adding the content. So this is the opening tag and this is the content that we want to display on browser, and this is the closing tag. This combination of opening and closing tag with the content is called HTML element, and this whole HTML element tells the browser to add a heading into our document. Okay, so if I save and go into our browser and refresh it, now you can see that there are 6 different headings that you can use in our document. We will edit the color and sizes of these headings by using the CSS, but that's not the topic of this video. That I will explain in the coming video. Now I'm going to explain the paragraph tag. If you want to add different paragraphs into your document, then HTML provides you paragraph tag, which is actually represented by the P letter. Now I'm going to use a paragraph tag. Commented paragraph tag. To use the paragraph, you have to use the P and then closing. This would be content of paragraph. Okay. Now I'm going to use another paragraph. If you want to use the dummy text into your paragraph, simply type lorem into your Sublime, then press tab and it will display the whole dummy text into your paragraph type. So let me close it, and if I go back into our browser and refresh it, you can see there is a first paragraph and then the content of our second paragraph. The thing I'm going to discuss is the line break tag. If you want to put a break into your HTML document or web page, then you should use BR tag or line break tag into your document. After using the line break element, anything that comes after that will be start from the next line. This is also called an empty tag because there is no closing tag of the line break tag. So if you're using the XHTML or previous version of HTML, then you have to use the forward slash after putting a space between BR, and then you have to use the forward slash. Otherwise, your browser will not understand it. But if you're using the HTML5, then you don't need forward slash. You just have to put the break. And I put the break tag in here and over here as well, and in here as well. And here I refresh it, you will see that all the content where we have put the break are now displayed onto the next line. The next thing that I'm going to use is the center tag. Center tag is used to centering the content of our HTML document. So if I go over here, let me put a comment over here. I'm going to name it centering content. And here, let me make it visible. Here I use the P and then press lorem and press tab and a new paragraph will be open. But I want this paragraph to be into the center of our page. Okay, for that purpose, I'm going to center a content of it. So use the center. After that, I'm coming over here and I'm going to use close the center over here. This content of the paragraph will be displayed in the center of our HTML document. So control save and open the browser. As you can see that the content that we have centered by using the centering content tag has been displayed into the center of our page. So that's the purpose of our centering content, and we will use the center tag for the different purposes as well, but that will be explained in the coming videos. The next thing that I want to discuss is the horizontal line. If you want to break your HTML document with the visible horizontal lines, then the recommended tag for that is to use the HR. If you're using the previous version of HTML such as HTML4 or XHTML, then you have to use the HR space forward slash and then closing angle bracket. But if you're using the HTML5, you don't need to put the forward slash, you just use the HR tag. Okay, if I go back into our document, here I'm going to separate these with the HR tag. Okay, I'm going to separate this paragraph with HR tag as well. And this paragraph with the HR tag as well, and this with HR as well. Control save. And now if I come into our browser and refresh it, you can see that the horizontal lines has been displayed into our document. So it's being used to draw the horizontal lines into our HTML document. Next thing I want to discuss is the preserve formatting. If you want to preserve the formatting of your, it means that you don't want to apply the default formatting of your browser, then you should use the preserve tag or P or E tag into your document. So if I go back into our Sublime, and here I'm going to use PR, close it, and here I would be using function int var1 and simple console dot write var1 and close it. Now I go back into our browser, and if I refresh it, you can see that from it that no browser default formatting has been applied to this function. Okay, these default padding and margin, our PR tag will be removed when we use the CSS. Okay. To make it visible, I'm going to use a div tag here. Don't you worry about it, I will explain it later. Margin top, I'm going to use 200 px, and if I refresh, you can see that there is a space under the function. The next thing that I want to discuss is the non-breaking spaces. If you want to display certain words of the same paragraph into same line, then we use the non-breaking spaces into our paragraph. Here I'm going to use a simple HR, and then I'm going to use a P. Okay, and if I use lorem, Control S, go into your browser and refresh. Now I want to display these word and these word into same line. Okay, so here I'm going to use the non-breaking spaces, Control C and pasting between these three as well. Now Control S, go back into your browser. Now let me refresh it. As you can see that now these text has been displayed into the same line. So if you want to display certain word of a same paragraph into the same line, then you use the non-breaking spaces. Okay, now I want to discuss different type of HTML element. HTML element basically consists of two things. First, there would be a starting tag, then there would be a closing tag, and in between is the content that we want to display our browser onto web page. Okay, if some element of the HTML contains some content, it will be closed by an ending tag, and that ending tag will be started by the angle bracket, then will be followed by a forward slash, and then the same tag that we have used into our starting tag. Okay, so there are some wide elements that don't have HTML closing tag or opening tag. They are just simply a tag, okay? Such as image that is used to display an image, horizontal line, and the break element. These elements are known as HTML wide elements. Now, HTML allows you to have the nested element into your HTML document. Nested element means that you can have HTML element with an HTML element. So if I go back into our Sublime text, first I'm going to put an HR, and here I'm going to use a heading. Let me make it center, H1, close it. Now I'm going to put the content, the YouTube video, and let me know make it bold by using the bold tag. And now I want this video character to be displayed into italic. So now I have used an h1 tag. Okay, then I have used two nested tag, which is bold text tag and italic text tag. Let me save it. If I go back into our browser, you can see that our video has been italic, but as heading is already been bold, it's not displayed over here. So if you want to display, coming back into our Sublime, and here I am going to change the HR with P tag. Now you would see that our YouTube character has been bold and video is converted to italic. So this is how you can display the nested HTML tags. Now let's talk about HTML attributes. If you want to add some information about the tags that you want to tell the browser that how your HTML element should be displayed into your browser, then you can use the different HTML attribute to tell the browser an extra information about your HTML element. To use the attribute inside the HTML, you need to use the name and then you have to provide the value. First, you provide the name of the attribute, then you provide the value for that. For example, if I go back into our Sublime and here I try to use the paragraph tag. Let me create a paragraph by using the lorem, and I want this text to display on the left side. Then I will use align left or align center. Let me change it to center. Now if I refresh it, you can see that all of our text has been displayed in the center. If I go back into our Sublime and change this to right, now all the text has been displayed on the left side. So this is how you can use the attribute inside your HTML element. We will discuss these attributes in detail in coming videos. The core attributes that we will be using into our HTML elements will be ID, title, class, and style. ID attributes actually used to uniquely identify a particular element inside HTML page. Suppose you have multiple heading tags, which is H1, into your document, then how will you identify or tell the browser which tag you're trying to access? For that purpose, we can use the ID element. So title attribute is actually display a tooltip about a particular element. So if I go back into our Sublime and here I put a title tag and I should say sample paragraph, and now going back to browser, refresh it. When I will place the mouse over it, it will display a tooltip about that paragraph or that particular element. Now if I add the title to this sample paragraph, control save, and now I take my mouse over the heading, then you will see our tooltip is being displayed over the tag. The next thing is class attribute. The class attribute is used to associate an element with the style sheet, but I will discuss this in the coming videos in detail. The style attribute is actually used to add the styling into your particular element. Suppose if I go back into our Sublime and inside this I add a style paragraph and I will be use color red, and now go back into a browser and try to refresh it, you can see that all the color of the paragraph has been changed to red. The generic attributes that are being used are align, vertical align, background color, background, or ID, class, width and height, and title. You can try it yourself. These are very easy tags. If you found any problem about these tags, you can ask in the comment box. I will make a separate video for that. Now we are going to discuss all these tags which are used to add formatting to our paragraph or heading tag. So let's get started by moving back into our Sublime. To discuss the formatting tag, I'm going to use another paragraph. First, I'm going to use a horizontal line. Okay, this would be for bold text. I would be saying bold text. Now I'm going to use italic text. This would be italic text. To underline the text, we use U element, underline text. To make it strike through, I'm going to use strike tag. Okay. Now let's talk about the monospace font. The monospace font is actually displays all the character of a word into same space. If you are using the text without monospace, then all the character of that particular word will have the different width and height, but in monospace all the character will be having the same width and height. Okay, to have the monospace font, we use the TT tag. Okay, to have the superscript, I'm going to use sub. This would be sub, but before that I have to put something, so I'm going to use some text and then sub of that text. Okay, you can use whatever you want to use. Then we are going to use the subtext, and this would be text and then sub of that text, and this would be, this is actually super and this is actually sub. Okay, let's make it visible. Okay, the next thing we are going to use is the inserted text and deleted text, large text and smaller text. For the inserted text, you have to use ins. This is inserted text. Okay, For deleted text, you have to use del, close it. This would be deleted text. And for the large text, you have to use big. Okay, this is large text. And for the small text, you have to use the small. How easy? Okay, now let me save these and go back into our browser. And if I refresh this page, you can see that all the information that we just created had been displayed into single line. These are the bold text, italic text, underline text, strike through, monospace text, text sub, text super, text sub, inserted text, deleted text, large text, and small text. You can use all these formatting elements into your HTML document to format the HTML paragraph, headings, or whatever you want to format. Okay, that's it for this video. So before closing the video, let me quickly wrap up the content. First, we have discussed the heading tags, then we have discussed the paragraph, horizontal lines, break tags, then we have used the preserved text, then we have used different type of nested tags into our HTML document, and at the end we have used different formatting tags that will be used for the paragraph formatting into our video. So in the coming videos, I am going to discuss internationalization tags. So see you guys in the next videos.